Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and welcome back to the podcast, Ralph's podcast. No, it's not Ralph's. It's kind of
You're a joke, you are.
Welcome back, to Arsenal in News on this Monday evening over here in Canafoy TV World. We're going to be talking about, in the shortest terms possible, about the game that happened against Newcastle. We'll be reviewing whether Bukayo Saka is world-class or not. And we've got some injury news as well. So we're going to see you on the other side of this music intro. Yes, indeed. Welcome back again to Canon for the TV, the channel for Arsenal fans. I'm looking for things here. I'm in my new studio, Ralph. My new studio.
Yeah, I did notice it. Quite plush, your new studio.
Well, that's where all the money goes, to the new studio.
Meanwhile,
the original studio. Ralph's at the original studio. I'm at the new studio. How you been, Ralph, man? How you been?
Oh, I must admit, it's been the last few months have been really busy with work. Trying to adjust to the way that we do our work as well. So it's that, of course, I see more, or I get more of a reaction from some of the people I work with, some of my colleagues I work with, about the score and everything, and they keep on saying to me, "Oh, Arsenal's on a good run. Arsenal's doing this." I say, "Look, I'm not even going to go there. You team for a change, because for the amount of years I used to get bantered over Arsenal, and now because we're okay. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to downplay it as much as I can. Everyone's like coming up to me and saying, "Oh, you know what, Arsenal? Yeah. Thank you. I'm not playing. I'm supporting. So it's good where we are so far. But we have been there before.
We were last season, 10 points ahead. Anyway. So it's been a while since Ralph's been on the channel, the live show, and I want to get your opinion about Bukayo Saka, Ralph. He scored a bucket load of goals. I think is it 7 goals in his last 5 appearances? I'm probably getting it the wrong way around. I think, or is it 5 goals in his last? Right. Go on. 5.
I think you're right. I think it's 7 goals in the last 6 appearances. Well, since when they came back from Dubai. You know what? I think that Dubai is getting a lot of praise, because I think that maybe we need to go to Dubai, Alex.
I can do it, man.
What happens when we return back?
Bukayo Saka, Ralph, is he world class in your eyes?
That's a good question. I know it's been banded a lot within the last couple of weeks, and this kind of label. It seems that the more generations that come into this football realm, when you hear legend and world class, they almost merge. But you have to see it from a point of view of what they've done. I say Saka is on the verge of being a world-class player, but he's still quite young. He's still got a lot of things to learn, and he has been carrying the team since I would say about 3 seasons ago. This young 21-year-old just comes into the team, and he did a lot for the team. You see, world class and legendary status is to me is 2 different realms. World class means, to me, my definition is, not only have you done it domestically, but you've done it on the world stage as well. You know, you've won to be deemed world class. You have won the highest honor, and to me, that's like you're a World Cup winner. You've done the champion. You're Champions League winner. Domestically, you won the Premiership. You won the FA Cup, and all the other cups associated with it. So it may seem like it's a lot to title a person, but to me, that is what world class is. He's a fantastic player. He's got all the attributes, even to the point where I did see a mention. I think was it Righty? I think it was Righty. Righty was saying like you know, he's doing actually equal, didn't he? He equaled the amount of goals that Righty scored. He scored like 5 goals or 5 times consecutively in 5 games. And I think it's equaled Righty's scoring ratio on that. But he hasn't won the Premiership.
I think have we spoken about what it means to be a world-class player? I think like you say, to at least, you know, to be considered, you have to win the Premier League, and he's not won the Premier League.
No, but you know, I mean, let's try and not get it too twisted. There's a lot of players that a lot of teams has won the Premiership, but their players, I want to say they're world class. I think there's very few world class players that has won the Premiership.
Exactly. So your how you're framing this is gone out the window then. World class.
It kind of has. I mean, I to me, to define a world class player, you've got to have done it all. You know, I'm showing my age here. Pele, Maradona, I want to say Johan Cruyff. Well, Johan Cruyff didn't win the World Cup, but he was. See, it comes to almost a murky water kind of situation where Johan Cruyff, to me, was a world class player, but he didn't win the World Cup.
So
for me, all right. Well, just to strip it back, Saka has got a lot of attributes to become a world class player. Until he wins either the Premiership or the Champions League, or I mean, he's always involved in England, and I think his name's pretty much one of the first ones in the England team sheet.
Yeah.
He's got all attributes to become world class, but it will depend on how he conducts himself during the run up to, if we're about to win the Premiership, for example, if we're about on England duty, if he's in the team that wins either a Euro or a World Cup. To me, those are the kind of defining parts of him becoming more world class. But he's definitely got the attributes to become world class. But I'll say not just yet until he either wins any of those 3.
I think it's very subjective, though, isn't it? Because for me, how I would frame a player being world class is if the player can come up with the goods when the team needs him most and leads on to win major honors. So when the team is struggling, this particular player does a bit of magic, scores a goal or defends at a critical moment. For me, that is a world class player. But again, it's very, very subjective, isn't it, Ralph? Very subjective.
You're looking for a player that he's a team player, but when the team's in trouble, you know that you can rely on him to grab the game by the scruff of the neck.
Exactly.
I mean, all right, look at Thierry Henry, for example. The amount of times that everyone's looked at Thierry Henry to score, and he comes up with the goods. And you look at to me, this may be subjective as well. To me, Robert Perez, he's world class. He's a player that can make something out of nothing. Actually, Dennis Bergkamp,
Well, yeah, it goes without saying, to be honest.
Is world class. Although again, his team hasn't won the World Cup, but
he's won the Premier League.
He's won the Premier. Yeah, he's an invincible, isn't he? So
exactly. Very subjective.
It's very subjective. But what I'm not going to criticize this player too much, or ex-player. Rio Ferdinand came up for some stick, I think, earlier about what he felt was why he felt that Saka is not world class. And I think we have to be very careful when certain pundits who play the game and they become pundits. Sometimes their vision can be very narrow because they don't seem to be too argumentative, I suppose, for a lesser word or phrase. If they seem to be supporting a rival player or rival team. That's why I always think you should just stick to your own. Although you're always going to be asked for an opinion, try and base your opinion in the sense of being impartial rather than just playing to the audience.
What do you mean, stick to your own? What do you mean now? Stick to your own. What do you mean by that?
Well, it wasn't too far down the road when Jamie Carragher started saying, we shouldn't be celebrating the. But then you see memes and these little videos of him, cheering for Liverpool. So to me, that's the simple fact that if you're gonna criticize, you can criticize someone, but do it in an impartial manner, than to go too far left or too far right of the subject, as it were. And for me, Rio Ferdinand, everyone's got an opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, of course. It's up to us if we want to take it further or not. But I always feel that if you're an ex-player, just come out of the game. Just stick to your own. Stick to what you know. And if you're gonna want to judge someone, because the football world is getting smaller, because you do bump into people up and down the chain. There's a saying that when I was working in the studio, this lady, she was the account manager, she said, Ralph, the thing is that in this business, you have to treat people the way you like to be treated. Treat them kind on the way up, because when you come on the way down, you may meet those very same people. And that's something that's always stuck with me. You treat people the way that you want to be treated on the way up, because you never know where they could be the one that could actually influence what you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, let's get into some news anyway, at least. And oh dear me, I don't know. Double injury boost for Arsenal as Alexander Zinchenko and Thomas Partey. By the way, it's not Zinchenko. This is Thomas Partey and Gabriel Jesus in the picture. Arsenal are likely to have both Zinchenko and Partey available when they travel to Sheffield United in the Premier League match on Monday. So Arsenal have best part of 7 or 8, 7 days? 7 days to recover from the match against Newcastle. Both are back in training after injury layoffs, and the Even Standard reports that they were close to being involved against Newcastle over the weekend. The Gunners have a clear week, there you go, before they go to South Yorkshire, and that is expected to be plenty of time to get the Ukrainian and the Ghanaian back to fitness and available for the trip then. It has been a long time on the sidelines for Thomas Partey, who has been out since October. Oh my goodness! Do you know what? I'd far rather sell him, but that's just me. But the thing is, we haven't really missed Thomas Partey. We haven't missed. Have we missed Gabriel Jesus? Could he have done much against FC Porto? I don't think so. This breakup in play, the referee blowing up for every little infringement, played in the hands of FC Porto. Arsenal couldn't find any rhythm at all. But Ralph, very quickly about the FC Porto game. Did you see it?
No, I was working. I was working late. I came in and caught the headlines and thought, I kind of, in my gut of guts, I was thinking that we might lose it. But I'm more disappointed at the way that we lost it. If it was like early in the game, then, and I mean, not to register. I don't think we registered a shot on target, did we?
No, nothing.
So not a shot on target. Nothing. Nothing. You know, in terms of replying, and to give the ball away with about roughly 30 seconds of the 4. I think it was like 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes added on time.
Yeah.
To me, that's criminal. That's criminal. You know, why couldn't you have like just punt it or run as far as he could down that left flank rather than just
show a lack of experience, Ralph? Because like you just said there, you know, we always talk about, you know, John Barnes, you know, 89, you know, rather than him just taking it to the corner, the Liverpool way to try and, you know, play the ball out from the corner. But, you know, at least with Martinelli, he should have held on to the ball rather than trying to play, you know, a smart pass. He should have held on to the ball and just played the seconds out. A lack of experience, Ralph.
But Alex, we keep sorry, but we keep on. This is, to me, this is a repetitive mistake. I think I'm trying to think, who was it that said that? It may have been LTL, whether it's in the chat or whether it's on the channel. He said that how, you know, roughly 40 or 50% of goals come from mistakes. But a good team or great team, it lessens the mistakes. You know, from where he was to try and do a cross-field pass, it wasn't even high. It was like maybe about chest level when he hit it. So it had to hit someone. It didn't hit one of our players. Of course, if it did go to Saka, then who knows? Maybe we might have been one goal up. But this may sound a bit negative. I don't mean it on a Monday. You know, I'm off and everything else. But we have made it really difficult for ourselves in the return leg. I don't know if we're gonna get past Porto, because as Porto did what they didn't offer anything. We didn't offer anything from what I saw, and yet they came away. So, you know, whether you want to say it's a smash and grab or whatever. We've done these kind of like mistakes before, Alex. You know, and I don't know. I think that it's gonna be another tough night against Porto. If we score early, I know our home form has been good. It's been challenging, but when it comes to these European games, there's something that makes us feel so vulnerable, and there it was. There was the mistake. Of course, you know, teams are going to do that, but the one thing that I'm pretty certain they must do in training and everywhere else is, okay, we're going to run the clock. You got 3 minutes. The ball's in your end. What are you going to do? You're going to try and play yourself out, play at their end, keep the ball at their end. Oh, you're giving away a free kick in their half, which means they're going to pump the ball forward. Everyone in their defensive roles. Who have you got? I'm not a £8 million trainer or coach. You know what I mean? But those are the kind of scenarios that I would be drilling into the team, because these are the things that seem to be happening. If they keep on happening, then you want to try and lessen those mistakes on watch-alongs. And here, that we always seem to be the team that give our opposition more chances to score, because we give away silly fouls. We give away silly free kicks in areas that can hurt us. If we're going to give the ball away in a cross-field pass with 30 seconds to go, what are the odds? And when I saw Raya, I was thinking, to me, he was like too far out of his box. It was a worldie. It was a worldie. I don't know if you remember this, but you remember when you David Kersey and myself was in Highbury Fields, and you said you gave the ball to David Kersey and they had to try and like hit 5 shots. I was in goal, and he hit 5 shots, and I let in 5 goals, and the two of you were like cracking his head, right? But his shots were like worldies, and I was in the just inside 6-yard box. But to me, Raya was like just out the 6-yard box. You see a guy coming from the right side. What do you think he's going to do? You get yourself in the best position, and anyway, I think we've made it incredibly difficult for ourselves for this return leg.
Personally, I don't blame Raya, Ralph, because any goalkeeper is not going to stay on their line. They're going to come out and try and narrow the angle. And I think even if it was Ramsdale, I don't think he would have saved it. I just think it was just one of those.
I think Air Ramsdale would have done something, Alex. I think Air Ramsdale.
I don't know about that, Ralph. Man. Ralph, let me go into the live chat. There's been a few comments from Tony Pugilistic Boy, who says, ludicrous.
Okay.
Cell Party, ludicrous. Ludicrous, is that not a rapper? It is a rapper, ludicrous. I'm not going to bother. Tony, I've said to you already. I would sell Thomas Partey. He's just always out injured. Martinelli is 22. Yeah, and blaming Martinelli without watching the game is ludicrous. Well, personally, his passage of play, the reason why they got onto the ball was because of that worldly pass he was trying to do. And I think it went to Pepe, the oldest player on the pitch, age 40, who played it to Galeno, and Galeno put it over David Raya. So are we blaming Martinelli? I mean, it could have been worse. They had that shot in the 20th minute. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been 2-0. So
I saw that one. That was where it hit the post and it came back to the same player and he put it wide. You know what I mean? When I saw that, I thought that there's a good reason why it's still a draw. You know, but just going back on Tony blaming Martinelli and saying it's ludicrous. He's the last person who had the ball, who was in possession. So it's a shame. It's almost like you're defending and you turn your back and the ball comes off your shoulder and it goes into the net. It's your fault. You may not want it to happen, but the ball can come off you last. You played the last pass and it didn't work. Are you saying that on the highlights they blurred out the person who made the last pass for them to score? that to me, that's not an argument. It's unfortunate that Martinelli was the man who, and let's face it, you know, we've all been there. When we made a mistake, the one redeeming factor is that you want to make sure that you pick yourself up and you go at it again. You know, you have to put it at the back of your mind. Yeah. So from what I saw of Martinelli on Saturday, he played extremely well. He didn't want to come off because he hadn't scored. But that's what you do. That's what you do. You have to put those things at the back of your mind. Mistakes happen, and if you're the person who make the mistake, then you put your hand up and you try and get your team back into it, but not with 30 seconds to go.
He goes with very negative comments for a team that's scoring freely. I hate this kind of negativity. Okay. All right. Tony, you've lost me there. But anyways, do you want to say something, Ralph? Lost me there.
I'm going to respond. If I can respond. We always say, or the team always says, we'll take the positives out of this. My response has been consistent for as long as I've been on this channel, that we always seem to say we take the positives, but we don't learn from them. We don't learn from them. if we learn from them, then these mistakes will be very far and few between. Of course, Arsenal's been scoring freely. I don't deny that. I never will. But at the same time, the same coin, when you flip it, if you ask many Arsenal fans, they will potentially will say there's always a mistake, or there's always something that we always seem to give the opposition. Now, if we go on this incredible run, and we are scoring 4-5 goals against the few teams that we have coming up, we've got them down the road at some point. We've got Man City at some point. Man City, from what I saw against Bournemouth, was it Bournemouth? They played against Bournemouth, wasn't it?
Yeah,
they played against Bournemouth.
Yeah,
they were very lucky. In fact, Bournemouth could have drawn that match. So if we're going to start saying negative, I appreciate your opinion. I appreciate the fact that that is your observation of the situation. I don't like being negative. I'm trying to be as objective as possible. But when you support a team for as long as I have, or as anybody else has, you do have the right to your opinion. You do have the right, based on whatever facts there are, to state your case. And my case has always been, okay, what have we learned from this? Don't give the ball away from when we've got 30 seconds on the pitch. But didn't we say that when we drew with Newcastle 4-4 at their ground? And that was going about 4 or 5 years ago. So the only thing that we've learned is the fact that, okay, we can beat them no matter where they are. We can be disciplined, and we can control the game. So that's the consistency that we need to level. When you're playing against a team like Porto that has won the Champions League, okay, we're not there yet. We're 16, 17 years and counting, still trying to get the positives. You got Chelsea, you got Aston Villa, you got Man United, you got Liverpool.
Chelsea.
I did say Chelsea.
Did you? Sorry. Yeah.
Right. Right. And we're second in the league. Oh no, I think we're third. I think we're third in the league, aren't we?
Third in the league.
Right. So what more? Am I being negative or am I being objective? I'm just bringing it the way that I see it. I want us to win the Premiership, but you won't hear me shouting off the rooftops, because we've come close. We came close last season. Last season, everyone was saying was going to win it, and what did we do? So, do you want me to be negative about that, or do you want me to be optimistic? So I stay optimistic, but you sometimes you have to take the rose-tinted glasses off and see it for what it really is. We are not there yet. We are on the way, but we have been here before. So, taking the positives and taking the negatives, we are on track. We are still on track, but let's see where it's going to take us. But my gut of guts, I won't tell you what I'm thinking anyway. I can tell you what I'm thinking about when it comes to the Champions League, because we're a young team. You put up that Martinelli is 22. Okay, but I'm sure you've been drilled at the fact that you don't give the ball away in areas that can hurt us. The whole team has.
And what I actually said, what I said on the East Talk as well, is that wasn't East Talk. It was the post-game reaction after Newcastle. Is when you've got a manager who's always barking out instructions and remonstrating with the players, and surely, and I'm not blaming Martinelli, but surely when you've got a manager like that, surely he would have shouted to Martinelli, "Hold on to the ball, take it to the corner. Don't hoof it and try and go for the weldy." And it's fact. that Martinelli, last Arsenal player to have the ball, went for the worldie, they intercepted the ball, and that led to a goal. That is fact, Tony. It's facts. You know, so anyway, let me go. There's some more.
There was two worldies, but one scored against us and one
put the
pass across. So it's unfortunate.
Ralph wants error-free football from the best team in the league. How foolish! Well, I don't think Ralph is saying that he wants error-free football. We know that all players make mistakes, Tony. Doesn't matter whether it's, you know, a Ronaldo makes mistakes. I'm sure Pele made mistakes. Maradona made mistakes. All the players are gonna make mistakes. But I don't think Ralph is saying that he wants error-free football. And Ralph's been supporting Arsenal a lot longer than I have. He's seen a lot.
I'm still trying to read. I'm trying to read from my page. Half wants error-free football from the best defensive.
He means Ralph. That's what he means.
Ralph wants error-free. No, I don't. I don't want error-free football. You know, error-free football means that no one touches it and no one makes a mistake, and no go. No, if it's going to be error-free, football isn't designed like that. I've played it. We've all played it. You know, if I was to play against, I don't know, if I was to play against, say, my favorite person, Righty, I'm pretty certain he can still show me a few things or two before his knees decide to seize up on him. If I play against a player who's 18, 20, there may be something I may be able to keep up with for about 10 minutes, and then I'll put my hand up. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying it from a real point of view. I played football. I played with some really good footballers, and the teams that we played against, yeah, it may have been down Hackney Marshes or Regent's Park or somewhere in South London. But you put your best foot forward. And listen, I scored, not I scored, but there was in one match 2 own goals came off me. So you know, it's just one of those things that happens. I'm saying, one came off my back because I turned my back instead of staying forward. I turned my back and it came off my back, and the other one came off my thigh. And it was in the same match. Even my teammates would look at me thinking, like, Ralph, we must have played for the opposition because we scored 2 goals against us. But I think we drew that match. In the end. But to say that I want error-free football is ridiculous. Football is based on error. What I'm saying is that you can lessen the errors. I think that the more professional you become, your errors are lessened, and the team's errors lessen when everybody sings off the same sheet. I'm pretty certain when Porto, I have to go back to Porto, when Porto won the Champions League, I think it was Jose Mourinho who was their manager at the time.
Yeah,
I'm pretty certain that he said to them in one of the matches, you know what? Keep the ball here. Let them come at us, and we hit them on the break. Oh, you know what? They're going to make a mistake if we press on them. So I don't want error-free football. What I'm saying is that the amount of times that we seem to replicate the same errors, surely there's got to be a way of lessening them. Surely there's got to be a way of lessening them. I'm not saying to be error-free.
It's the fine margins as well, isn't it? You know, you look at the table as it is as it stands now.
But you know what?
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, but it's always us. It's always us about fine margins. Exactly. It's always us when this team has gone through a team that's been on the bottom of the relegation, fighting for relegation, and they need to score maybe 2 goals, and they come against Arsenal. We give them 2 goals. We've seen it. This is not unknown science.
Mm.
We've been here before. We've seen it. What I'm saying is, it's a young team. I get it, but you can't keep using that as an excuse all the time.
Yeah,
it becomes repetitive.
Tony, this thing about Martinelli is 22. I'm not going for that excuse, man. I'm sorry. He's played how many seasons now in the Premier League? So
and he played for Brazil as well.
Yeah, I'm not going for that. He's an international. He's an international, Tony. So all this stuff about he's 22, no, I'm sorry. There's one more. Tony's just dominating the live chat. He says, and Tony, be mindful, I'm going to screenshot your message here. I expect a massive apology when we destroy Porto in the second leg. I'm going to screenshot this, Tony. I hope you're not thinking it's going to be a walkover. It's going to be a cakewalk in the second leg. All right? Because the first leg, what was Arteta's thinking? Was he going into the first leg thinking, let's just play for the draw? Mikel Arteta never learns the lesson. All right, he never learns the lesson. Against Lisbon, we were found wanting. We came up short. So you go in the first leg. We know away goals don't. That's out now, isn't it? Go there.
You know what? We're lucky. We're lucky in that regard. We're lucky in that regard because if it wasn't an away goal, Porto would have every right to sit back. They sit back and thinking that, you know what, they have to come at us. They're at home, but they have to come and attack us. When have you seen Arsenal, beat a low block team?
But I can see Porto scoring. FC Porto.
West Ham was virtually low block. Newcastle wasn't low block. They weren't at the races. But when it comes to a low block team, it can be very challenging for us. And Porto, they got one goal. What happens if they score a second goal?
Well, yeah. Tony says, like other teams don't lose. Tony, we have not won the Premier League in 20 seasons. We have not won the Premier League in 20 seasons. Of course, other teams lose, but we're losing more because we've not won the Premier League in 20 seasons. What do you have to say about that, Tony? And it's fact, right? It's not, it's not subjective. The fact is we've not won the Premier League in 20 seasons, Tony. All right? Yeah, other teams lose, but we've not won it in 20 seasons. Anyway, Andy, just kind of break up Tony's line of comments in the live chat. Says Arsenal need to sign a goalkeeper, really? Left back, right back, defensive midfielder, centre mid, and striker in the summer. That's a bucket load of money, man. Do we need to buy?
That's a new team.
Yeah, and then Tony says, "Why a goalkeeper? We don't need a goalkeeper. We don't need a goalkeeper. Yeah. We have what's up? 6 left backs. Please explain. And what about the fact we've won more than most without spending $1 billion? Listen. The fact I'm talking about is the Premier League, right? That's the holy grail, isn't it? When we talk about the Champions League, that's not going to happen. We've not won the Premier League in 20 seasons. In the Champions League, with how many bites at the cherry, Ralph? How many consecutive seasons were we in the Champions League? 20-odd seasons. And
one final.
We are the only team that's had that presence, trying to win the Champions League and not to win it. Chelsea won it twice in a decade. Man United, Liverpool. It goes on and on and on, Tony. So don't talk to me about the money, because if you want to talk about money, all right, who's in 4th place? Aston Villa spent not even 1/3 of the amount of money that Arteta has spent on this squad, but yet they're in the top 4. Possibly going to secure a Champions League spot, Tony. Yeah? Do you want to talk stats? Anyway, Ralph. Dear. Arsenal have a 5 left backs in. Yes, we do. We don't need a left back, and we don't need a goalkeeper. Sorry, Andy, I can't support you on that.
Seems we're gonna get a bit heated.
So we just wrap it up, Ralph. Oh dear, I think I lost some brother.
Tony. You know what? I do appreciate Tony's angle on this. I have seen him quite a few times on the Easy Talk, and he's very subjective and he's very knowledgeable. You know, there's no doubt. But trying to back up what you said, and most of the people who watch this platform, other platforms as well. Of course, there's other platforms, but when you get someone like James Rowe, for example, who breaks it down in real terms, they'll I can tell you the history of Arsenal and what's happening in real terms. I mean, I am still learning. I never ever say that what I say is gospel. I'm just saying from my perspective, from what I understand. Sometimes I let my heart rule my head. And I think we've all done that at some point. And, you know, we get burnt. There's nothing worse than going back to work where you've got Man United fans, you've got Liverpool fans, you've got Newcastle fan, you've got Everton fan, you've got a Chelsea fan, you've got one of them down the road fan, you've got a Leicester fan. This one Leicester fan, since they won the Premiership, he hasn't come back to me once because we've beaten them quite often. Yeah, but it still doesn't take anything away from the fact that that's in recent times they have won the Premiership. If you want to take anything as solid a foundation, from the time when Arsenal last won the Premiership, how many other teams have won the Premiership since then? You know, when could you say that Arsenal had a team that dominated the Premiership for 10 years? We never done it. We've done it in maybe 3 or 4. We're like we upset the apple cart. During the 80s, Liverpool was like that force. During the 90s, Man United was that force.
Yeah.
During the 2000s, we were thereabouts, but then you've had Leicester, you've had Man United, you've had Liverpool,
Chelsea. Yeah,
you've had Chelsea,
yeah.
You've had Man City now. Man City is trying to dominate that kind of like domination for a long period of time. But Arsenal has always been in the mix, but we've never ever been like Man City. I have to say, unfortunately, Man City, Liverpool, Man United. We haven't had a case where, you know what, before the season begins, Arsenal's going to win it because have you seen their bench? Not just the players on the pitch, but their bench. They can bring off anyone, and the team will be consistent. When has Arsenal ever been like that? And that's why Liverpool has gone on to be the European force that they've become, and Man United. You look back in the 60s when they won it, they had a team, unfortunately, a young aspiring team that could have won in Europe, but unfortunately it was the Busby Babes that suffered. But they made the platform for what Man United became in the 60s with your George Best and your Dennis Laws, you know, and your Bobby Charltons. So Arsenal, we keep on looking at Arsenal thinking, you know what, this is going to be our year. This is going to be our year. This is going to be our year. And we just hit, and then we go back. And when we go back, the Chelseas, the Man Uniteds, the Liverpools, the Man Cities, the Leicesters, they're the ones who seem to just take that edge off it. But no one's dominated football as much, and it pains me to say it, as Man United and Liverpool. I want my team, I want Arsenal to be that dominating factor. Are we going to be that? We have to wait and see, innit? We have to wait and see.
Tony says Ajax have been in the Champions League for 20 plus years. They've won it 4 times, Tony. They've won a Champions League at least 4 times, and we have not won it at all. Maybe I'm spoiled by seeing the Promised Land. Promised Land. I think you're right. All 3 of us. I mean, I've been supporting Arsenal since the mid-70s. Ralph a little bit longer than me. Maybe that's what it is. No talks about FA Cups. The last time Arsenal won the FA Cup was with Unai Emery's squad. Tony, you want to talk facts? That's a fact, Tony. That squad there that won the FA Cup, managed by Mikel Arteta, that was Unai Emery's squad that won the FA Cup. Fact. Dominating a league that has Chelsea and Man City, money is nigh on impossible. But Leicester City won the Premier League, Tony. They're on the verge of being relegated, and they won the Premier League. Tony.
But look how long they've been in the Premiership. It may be money, but you also need them. You also need them. The other qualifying factors to make it successful is you got a manager that knows the market. Arsene Wenger knew the market. There's another documentary I was watching. Arsene Wenger, when Arsene Wenger came in, total unknown. In their arrogance, Fergie said, "Well, Fergie even Ian Wright, said that, who's this Frenchman? Does he know anything about English football?" Fergie said, "What does this Frenchman know about English football?" That's arrogant. But he was able to be arrogant because, other than Liverpool, where were we before when Fergie came to dominance?
Yeah.
It was always Liverpool, Man United. That's the reason why I don't like using this word, but that's why they hate each other. That's why they hate each other, because with Liverpool, you've got a team that dominated not just home but away as well, and then Man United just came in on the blind side. But they had that in the 60s as well. They were sleeping giants, and then they had their own version of the Busby Babes. You had Giggs, you had the Neville brothers, you had
Beckham.
What's that midfielder?
Giggs.
Yeah, Beckham, and you had the midfielder. Keane came. He came in 91, I think it was 91. I think it was 91.
Okay.
91 he came in, but I'm trying to think of the midfielder that even Vieira liked. Vieira said he played for England. Yeah, Vieira. Vieira said that Scholes.
Yeah.
Paul Scholes.
Okay.
Now look at that team. Again, I always seem to be referring back to programs. If you ever watch this program, The Best of Enemies, where Vieira and
brilliant. Oh, lost my brother. I've lost. But whilst he's trying to sweat,
when Vieira and Keane talk about the team that they played in. You could see how difficult it was to try and put a best 11 from both sides. But I would take Man United's midfield in a heartbeat and place in our team, and I'm pretty certain that team would go.
What you mean now, or compared to the midfield that we had?
No, now.
Right.
The Man United midfield that did the treble, I would take that midfield and place it in our current team. Because
why
you
is
have
that? Why is that?
Because you will have a wealth of experience. You got a team that when they went on the attack, they were relentless. And if they lost the ball and it led to a goal, you had Keane pointing and telling you, you did that, you better fix it up.
If you remember back in those days, the saying was, the Arsenal don't like it up them. You rough up the midfield or the Arsenal players, and they crumble.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that is why I would probably take the midfield of Man United and put it in Arsenal's midfield, because any team that comes to rough up this current squads would crumble. And we haven't seen it. I mean, we've seen a lot of the left back roughing up Bukayo Saka, but in the mid, you don't see much of a midfield battle, do you? I mean, you've got Declan Rice will be in the midfield there.
No.
But that was the same back in the day, that Arsenal don't like it up them. Just rough them up and they'll crumble. You know what I mean? Ralph, I've got to go through these comments here, Ralph, so we can wrap up inside an hour. So Tony goes on to say, so dominating the league, I know we spoke about that. Liverpool have only won one Premier League, and probably on the verge of winning their second one inside a decade. Blame the board. Did Leicester win before Chelsea? I don't care. They won the Premier League. We haven't won it in 20 seasons, Tony. And the last one, Arsenal lost the league to Leicester, and Man United were second division team in the 60s. And I think before they won the Premier League, they had a balance spell, I think, of 25 seasons of not winning the league. So we're on the verge of reaching that record there. Ralph, we're wrapping it up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit of a rant from me. I haven't ranted in a long while.
Just a little bit. We take all comments. We take all comments.
Ralph, good to see you back.
I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if I can join you guys again. As I said, work it's been really busy for me, and I do miss my side man as well as everybody else. So, but yeah, this was good. Very cathartic. Very cathartic.
Nice one. All right, that's it, people. I believe this is going to be the only live show I'm doing this week. There is no Easy Talk on Friday. I'm going to be at my mum's house with my wife and maybe my brother as well. I think he'll be joining us as well. So I think this is the one and only live show that I'm doing this week. So I hope you enjoyed it, seeing Ralph back. And I know a lot of people have been asking. Well, they weren't asking. They were saying, "We want Raz back. We want." I said, "No, you're not. You're stuck with me, man." Stuck with me.
Who's been paid? Who's been paid?
Anyway, Ralph, thank you very much. And this has been Canon for the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world.